Welcome, everybody, to today's episode of the Financial Advisors Workshop. This is where at 4-Star we interview top people in our industry so we can all learn from each other. There isn't as much collaboration between advisors and firms in our industry, and so we're trying to foster that development and knowledge, and we get to meet some really great people. Like today, our special guest today is Jorge Padilla, and Jorge is originally from Spain, got a great story. He's a principal of a firm called Miera. And let's welcome Jorge to the Financial Advisor Workshop.
Thank you, Brian, for having me, and looking forward to our conversation and sharing what the little things I've learned along the way.
Excellent. Well, the thing that struck to me in reading the notes about our discussion today is the way you got in the industry is you just walked in the front door of a firm to get an internship. And you just said, I'm here, I want to work.
Yeah, the story goes, I did not only walked in and said, I want an internship. I even said, I want an internship and I would like a response within a week because I need to figure out which firm I'm going to choose. Otherwise, I'm going back to Spain.
Okay.
Glad it worked out. I was still in college at the time and just wanted to get practical experience on an industry that back home in Spain is not necessarily well developed because it's all done as part of the traditional private banking, large institutions. So not quite the same. I was fortunate to have an internship, same firm that I'm still at. I was in college and I knew I wanted to pursue the CFP certification at the time. I just wanted to make sure that the practical industry experience and what is it like to be a financial advisor made sense to me and was something that I was truly passionate about. So that was all a success story.
How old were you when you came from Spain?
So I ended up coming with a tennis scholarship. I did school at Winthrop University, and I was around 19. I did spend a little time after high school trying to play some pro tournaments in Spain, tennis tournaments and stuff. It's very competitive and tough, and the US provides a great avenue for you to combine both. So continue playing at a very competitive level and still continue your studies. So yeah, I must have been 19 when I left.
Oh boy!
Came here and all the way from Spain to the southern part of the U.S. So talk about a cultural shock.
We know you're in Miami and there's lots of Cubans, but that is a different culture completely than from mainland Spain, right?
There are a lot of Cubans, a lot of Colombians, Peruvians. It's definitely a melting pot. There's a lot of South Americans, Central Americans around here. So very, very different. And it's still different from Spain. It's from Spain, but closer definitely.
Yeah, and you spent time in Portugal as well, right? Before you came.
Did not spend time in Portugal. From Spain, when came to the Charlotte area to do college, and afterwards moved down to Miami after graduating.
Okay, so you went to Winthrop, and then while you were there, when did you go for the internship? In like sophomore, junior year, or near the end?
No, it was my last year of college, so it was very close to the end. And then got fortunate that 6 months after graduating, I was already working around close nearby in Charlotte, and our firm called me up saying, "Hey, we're looking to hire now full time, and we thought of you after the internship. Would you like to move down?" And you're like 21, 22, somebody calls you, "Hey, do you want to move down to Miami with a job that you want to be doing?" It's like, I'm there in 2 weeks.
Very good.
So yeah, worked out.
Excellent. So you get in with the firm, and then let's talk a little bit about the evolution of the firm. You mentioned the firm has grown nicely. There's been some rebranding. Let's talk a little bit about what's going on there.
Yeah, so I've been in the firm almost 15 years. Nowadays, I know that's quite unusual to see that happening. So I think I've done pretty much every role that there is to do in the firm, maybe with the exception of some of the more administrative things of managing the office. But done all the investment research. I've done all the investment operations. I've done all the client servicing. I've done everything there is to be done to working with clients, from supporting advisors early on as I was getting my CFP experience requirement, to now, be a senior advisor and manage a team of other advisors as well, and client service, and making sure that we maintain the high level of personal service standard across the client base and our personalized planning approach. Now also leading the investment strategy efforts and portfolio design for the portfolios across the firm. Eventually, from like 4 years ago or so, becoming principal of the firm and working on the, ownership succession internally as well. So lots of things that have happened over the years, technology changes, leading a lot of conversion of technology, improving systems, improving processes. I think it's a great example of what you can do if you have an entrepreneurial mindset within the same firm, not necessarily having to start something from scratch on your own somewhere else, right? And I've just been also fortunate to have, my now business partner, but founder of the firm, Linda Lubitz-Boone, over the years, giving me that latitude or ability or trust to take the lead on all those projects or initiatives and making the firm better, making sure that we are improving our service to clients and the things that we do.
Nice. Now, you mentioned to me that when you thought of being a financial advisor and you came to the States, like if you tried to do that in Spain, it isn't as developed, right? What do they do in Spain that's different from here?
I think you could compare it to what somebody may get if they go to a JP Morgan private bank relationship, but at a much, much lower asset or net worth level. But not always, but the majority of the times, there is a very strong insurance component or wrapper around things. So the independent channels or the independent structures and platforms that are available in the US, they are not as developed in Spain and other countries. And also the planning aspect of things, the holistic planning aspect of things, and incorporating a true wealth planning approach, that's not as common in Spain or other countries. I mean, just as an example, Spain still does not have a CFP mark for the country. There are a few European countries that do, but Spain is not one of them.
Interesting. And that's been, as I've looked around the world and traveled a lot, it seems that way, that America really does have the most developed financial advisory industry, where mostly it's kind of congealed into a bank structure or something like that. And not as open for the individual. You have to be super wealthy. And if you don't have a lot of money, they just kind of ignore you.
Yeah, it's changing with technology, right? Like technology is leveling the playing field a lot across the world. But yeah, the countries that are more aligned or provide this, definitely the US leading on there, but Australia and UK, and to some extent Canada, I think they're also very closely aligned in providing similar services or structures, and having a regulatory framework that is somewhat similar in giving structure to independent advisors to deliver advice that is on a fiduciary basis.
Right. Yeah. Right. Interesting. Well, we're glad you're here and welcome. So you started your career. How did you get clients initially?
So initially it was mostly clients of the firm, as this was very purposeful in that when I left college, and even when I was looking for the internship, I did not want to go to a typical wirehouse role where they will throw you to say, hey, go and call up your friends or call up whomever and cold call when you are 21, 22 years old. Plus, I came from a different country. I have no network. That is, to me, just make no sense whatsoever. Like, what am I going to do to advise people that have wealth when I still haven't even experienced life to its full extent and I don't have the true experience. It's like a doctor, right? Like, why do doctors go through residency and practical experience? Well, they need to know how to apply the technical knowledge that they have that's taking years to get. So to me, it was very clear from the very beginning, I wanted a place to be able to learn the business, learn how to provide advice, as well as learn all the technical aspects of it. And that's where, at the beginning, the clients were all clients of the firm. Then over time, it's more, the networking, the traditional ways of, networking in the community and a lot of client referrals. One of the things that I did earlier on was create a different model to work with children of clients. So nowadays, XY Planning Network has become very popular, and having retainer fee models or some kind of different pricing for the younger generation that are making a very good living, have planning issues, but they may not have the assets, but they have the ability and willingness to pay. So creating something different to especially, support or help clients, children of clients that are doing relatively well. And from there, obviously it can grow from other client referrals from there, right? So that's kind of how it started, growing a little bit the client base on my own.
So tell us a little bit about the children and of the families. Why would you work with them, and how was it to work with them?
So there is a huge opportunity in our industry for having advisors that, as they are growing in their career, they can tap or they can connect with the children of wealthy clients at a different level that an older advisor will not do. It's not about just the reality of different life stages and being able to relate. So I think that there is a big opportunity there, because as those wealthy clients pass away, or they may help the children, if you already have an existing relationship with the children, it's just almost from a business point of view, it makes a ton of sense. And if you can find a model that you can serve them in a cost-effective way that works both ways, then over time, that younger client could end up becoming a millionaire sooner or later without even it, because most of the times they may lead successful careers as well. Plus, inheritance could happen along the way. And I think another benefit that I've enjoyed a lot is being able to navigate the family dynamics. Obviously for a family that maybe has a very simple financial picture, maybe less than $1 million in assets, everything is in a few accounts, not many, just their home and things like that. There's not a lot of family dynamic issues that may be uncovered. But when you're dealing with 5 million or above net worth clients, and you may have different properties and you may have different kinds of assets, then the family dynamics become a little bit more important. And being able to know the parents and the children and how to navigate that, and still, put some wall a little bit on what I speak or what I talk with the parents stays here. What I talk with the children stays here. But at the same time, trying to integrate that to the benefit of the family, I think there's a lot of value there to be created. Kind of a, maybe in a family office structure, it's a lot more normal to do that. Maybe for IRAs, it's something to incorporate and learn how to do better.
Right. Very interesting. And then, have you had any families cycle through where the heirs of the family ended up inheriting some of those assets?
Many times. Yeah, many times.
Excellent. Well, good. So you get involved and you're working with firm clients, but then you do referral work, and then you build another client from that as well.
Actually, I would say, similar to the working with the children, there's been quite a nice number of children of clients that we started working with because of that transition, right? So it's that the parents or the original client, having worked with us for a long time, And the children, once they get to deal with us or work with us in handling the inheritance, is making them see the value that we could bring to their financial life, and then retaining that relationship over time. And it's not just, money, or it's a client that goes away because it passed away, but rather it continues to be a client of the firm. It's just it has transitioned to the next generation. So that
Right.
I think that's another way of incorporating new clients, that retaining business, but hey, they may have personal assets of their own that they
Right.
could bring, or over time you could help with as well.
Fascinating. So, how has the firm grown then in the last 15 years? Give us some historical account. And then you also mentioned some changes in the firm and rebranding. So let's talk about the growth and then where you are now.
So when I joined, the firm must have been below 100 million in assets.
Mhm.
There were just 2 advisors in the firm, so there were about 4 or 5 people. Now we are 6 people, soon to be 7. We have 4 CFPs. We have nearly 250 million in assets. So not a very strong, aggressive growth, but it's always been a purposeful growth, just organic by referral only. So that's without a very aggressive and strong marketing process. So that will be changing over time as we try to create the infrastructure to scale the practice. So talking about that a little bit, in the past few years, as the founder has transitioned more towards non-business critical roles and the day-to-day running of the operation, we have a CEO running most of the operation of the firm and helping with all the strategic planning. Me as principal, kind of in charge of all the investment planning and client operations and managing all that process. And throughout that strategic planning, realizing that, hey, maybe especially given the pandemic and all the social experiment that we all have gone through, where we are rethinking our lives, how we want to live it, where we want to spend time, how we want to work, it was the perfect opportunity to take a step back and think about the next 10 years for the firm, what it looks like. So we took that opportunity as a time to do that for the firm, and then go ahead and rebrand. So the firm used to be named the Lubitz Financial Group. They bear the founder's last name. So we wanted to project the image that is not only the founder working in the firm anymore, and in the next 5 years, perhaps, maybe the founder is not involved working with clients, and there is a team of advisors that work with clients. So we wanted to begin planting those seeds and having an image that resonates with the brand, the type of culture that we have. We purposefully chose the name to reflect the fact that it was a woman that founded the firm. So Mira is the feminine name of Meir, and it stands for somebody who brings light or illuminates others. So we like to think of ourselves as somebody that helps our clients in navigate the difficulties of their financial challenges, and gives them clarity and light into that process, into their goals, connecting and aligning that with their goals. So that was definitely a long process to do that, of rebranding website, rebranding all the materials, but communicating to the clients what it meant and why we're doing it. But it was very well received by all clients, because they understand that it was a well thought out reasoning, and it was planned very purposefully. So now the challenge always when you do the rebranding is communicating all of that to the community, that, especially when the company has been around for 25 years, is okay, sure. Just making sure that the entire community knows that the new name, but it's still the same business. It's not like we sold or anything like that.
Sure. So Mira is based in what? How do we describe the name that you've all picked?
It's based. So Mira is a feminine name. It's a Jewish. it's a Hebrew feminine name, and it's just the meaning behind it is what attracted us to represent. Yeah, the company was founded by a woman, and also what it stands for, the bearer or the giver of light, or someone who eliminates others. So that's kind of the rationale why we chose it.
Okay, so that's how and what was the process you went through? How many names did you consider? And
oh boy, a huge list of names. Everybody that has tried ever to put a name on a firm that they want to start, or a company want to start, knows it's very challenging to put a name without putting your personal name or last name in it. The logo that we have also was an interesting process in trying to capture why do we do what we do, and right. We have this intersection of circles of trying to. It is a projection of a Japanese concept of ikigai, which is a purpose of being, or a purpose of doing things, and it's what we're trying to illustrate there is we want to attract people in our firm and in our culture that want to be doing things that are aligned with their purpose, what they're good at, what they're passionate about, where they can create an impact, and where they can have fun doing things. Right. We want to make sure that is what our culture stays like that for many years to come, and we are very protective of that, of our core values in that way.
Sure. Interesting. Now you've talked a little bit about, now that you've done the rebranding, you're transitioning some assets and clients from the founder to others. Let's talk about that. Like, how has that gone, and why is it happening? And
yeah, so I very early on, as I started working with clients directly about 10 years ago, 11 years ago, I started seeing what works, what doesn't work in transition client relationships, or meaning me coming into a client relationship that Linda has always had for years, and what's best practices in doing that. Fast forward many years, I've seen that happen, or I've even created processes to introduce advisors to the team that works with the client. So we've always been very purposeful in having a team-based approach with our client relationships. Maybe not all of them, but in trying to get some segmentation. But the majority of them have 2 advisors assigned plus the client services person in supporting that client relationship, with the idea that the client knows that if the senior or lead advisor is not available, there is another advisor that knows their personal situation. There's another advisor that could provide some level of support, advice, or counsel if things come up on a day-to-day basis, without necessarily having the lead advisor involved. So over the years, the goal has always been to transition relationships away from Linda as the founder and the one that has always had that trust with the clients, and transfer that trust to the new advisory team or the next generation. So for many years, it's been me. For other years, it's been other advisors in the firm. So currently, it's also working on transitioning many of those relationships away from Linda and to the other advisors that we have in the team. Right now, we're probably going to be accelerating that process in the next few years as Linda continues to transition out of having a lot of client load. But the process is still the same, is being purposeful in introducing that new advisor to the team, letting the client know that the lead advisor or the person that they've worked with already for years is not going away, so that they know there's somebody that they can trust, and gradually show how the new member of their advisory team can add value to them, can be supportive, can be there taking care of the details, and building that trust, right? Like, trust is something that, sometimes, yes, there is the first impression that you can create a lot of trust by those moments, but at the same time, it can take time to build, right? And that personal rapport and that personal relationship. So just by being purposeful in those interactions, over time, then those transitions are more successful and less likely for a client to feel that they're just being passed off to somebody else and not, they're not being cared for or not being paid attention to. So
That's great.
It's kind of maintaining those high level of standards of excellence and work, experience to the clients. And, that creates relationships that last for many, many years and majority of the times, decades.
Nice. And you mentioned also before about the Diamond Team concept, the Angie Herbers, and how you've integrated some of those concepts. Describe a little for us, and then how you've integrated that into the Mira firm.
Yeah, so that's something that the last few years we've had a little bit more present as we've had more advisors in the team, and we will continue to have that as a framework in structuring the team to work with clients that way. So having the senior or lead advisor oversee the team of the 2 support advisors, and then that's still supported by somebody that is more junior, perhaps somebody that is working towards the CFP. So that way, clients don't get all of a sudden a new face that comes from outside that may or may not be culturally aligned or may not know how to deliver the same level of experience or service. By doing this transition from the inside and progression, clients can feel that they've worked with the same person for many years, creating more, loyalty of their business and, feeling that they're cared for, they're not just passed out to somebody else. So looking to, our current client service person is now going through the CFP. So to get to that bottom level support structure within the Diamond Team with the hopes or expectations that over time can grow into a full advisor. And then from there, can grow to senior advisor if he so desires. And, same thing, we're looking to hire another person on that support level Diamond Team structure so that we can continue to grow and build capacity. And over time, have another senior advisor to create more capacity for new clients and continue that process on. So I think it's a very good framework to align where each advisor or each employee or part of the team is, and align that with the complexity that the clients have, because you're not going to put most of the times a junior person to work with your most complicated clients. So that way it's a good process to build up that experience over time in a very natural and organic way.
Nice. Well, you also had talked to us a little bit about your hybrid work model, and that's changed your business a little bit too. And that has to do probably with the lockdowns that went through and all that. So how has that shaped your business, and how does that operate today, the hybrid work model?
Yeah. So right now we have one of our advisors who is based in West Palm Beach. So, we are based in Miami. So think about an hour and a half drive or so.
Right.
And then the rest of us are based in Miami, but we're not coming to the office every day. We're coming on an as needed basis, or when we feel like we need that workspace, or we are meeting clients. Right. The truth of the matter is Linda, the founder, has lived a bi-coastal life for many, many years. So in a way, we were already with a framework of having a somewhat of a remote environment, because she will have a home in California, work there 1 or 2 weeks a month. So then we need to be prepared to do things on a web-based manner, or not necessarily in person. But I think the key part that made us transition to all this is having the right technology structure, where it's easy to operate from anywhere, from very well built processes in web-based platforms, integrations within those platforms. And I think the most important part that I feel it has made the biggest difference, especially to preserve the culture and the communication between the team is having a easy to use and interactive internal communication system. So a few years before the pandemic, we had incorporated Slack to communicate every day internally. And once the pandemic hit and we needed to work from our offices, not only we had the systems in place to operate web-based, but also we had the internal messaging system to communicate regularly. And we started having like daily check-ins of the team together. So that, obviously is never going to replace the water cooler conversations that may happen in an office, but at least on a daily basis, we are all connecting at least once with each other and sharing gratitudes or sharing what is it that we're doing that day. So I think that it's definitely what has helped the most in maintaining the culture and a good structure now in a hybrid mode, right? And then from here, it's about rethinking how we work every day.
Right.
Who works best at home, who works best in the office, understanding that sometimes clients will prefer to do Zoom or just a phone call, or will prefer to meet in person, and how can we cater to the client's need better now that we have a more flexible arrangement to work with. So
Nice.
I think client wins and employees, and we win, right? So
yes, it sounds like you have a great plan and very thoughtful approach to transition, and you're a holistic financial planning firm and really help people out. And that's really, it's a credit to the industry. That's really what we're supposed to be doing, is really helping folks out and doing the best efforts for them in a service way that they're comfortable with. And it sounds like you really have that nailed. So congratulations, and thanks for hearing it here on the Financial Advisor Workshop, Jorge. We have a little platform here on this podcast and video series. And as you know, the videos will be seen all over social media and little video clips, including TikTok. So given the platform, so it's exciting. Given this platform, is there any other final message you'd like to give our brethren in the financial advisor industry? That's who will see this, of course. Our colleagues, people you might run into at a conference somewhere or whatever, they'll see you and know you. So what would you like to say to that group of people today, besides what you said already?
I would say that we have the potential and the ability to impact clients' lives in so many ways, and we're blessed to be able to do that and be invited to their lives in the way we are. And that's the reason that I continue to work the way I work. I'm passionate for the industry and the potential, and working with a group of people that believe the same, that we're here to make a positive impact in clients' financial lives. And I think we're having the right mindset. Doesn't really matter too much what model you have or how you are operating, as long as you have that aligned. There's a lot of value that we can bring to clients and their lives with what we do.
It's a great message, and clearly, we do have the ability to really change lives from our experience in financial planning and guiding people through volatile markets like we're through right now. And so
this is where it gets challenging and it gets fun, and where the biggest impact happens.
That's right. Because many people, given their own devices without any study, might make some serious mistakes at times like now. And it's great that you're there to protect them and there to help them, and then give them good, solid advice, even in a rough environment where we can't control all the outcomes. We can certainly control how we respond to it.
I think one of the biggest differences is when you've gone through the process with a client of identifying what's important to them, and it's during these difficult times, the ability to remind them that that's what they said it was important to them. And if they make these changes reacting to things that are coming at them, they may put in jeopardy those things that are truly important to them by those decisions. So I think that creating that accountability and having the ability to have those frank discussions with them to make sure clients continue to stay aligned with what they said is important and not just get derailed by the emotional reactions of the moment. That's what our true value is.
It really is. Well, great. Well, thanks again for being with us today. We appreciate your comments, and we look forward to watching your firm grow and see how you continue to serve clients in a very honorable profession, being a financial advisor. Thank you, Jorge, for being with us today on the financial
advisor. Brian. Thank you for having me.
All right, absolutely. Thanks again, everybody. We'll be back with another tremendous interview on the Financial Advisors Workshop.